Hi guys, Fuzz here, welcome back to Final Fantasy IX, and today we are just starting out on Disc 4, which we reached at the end of the previous episode, although of course on the Steam and Android versions there's no way of knowing that, but if you're following along on the PlayStation versions, then welcome to the final disc. So this is probably the shortest disc in terms of story content, and we are actually in fact all ready to go to the final areas of the game. Excuse me, just need to cough. Right, but before we actually go to those final areas, there is a plethora of optional content we can undertake, and I do recommend that you do it, and since this is a complete walkthrough I am going to show you exactly what there is we can do at this stage. But before we do anything else, I have just reached Q's Marsh here, it doesn't matter which one, but I'm about to catch the 99th frog. Now, if you're doing this side quest, then I do recommend before you do anything else that you do go and start catching frogs at this stage, because then they can start respawning as we do other optional content. But when you get to your 98th frog, make sure you come out of the marsh to save, or go to the Moogle to save, that's fine. And then you can watch what I'm about to do here in order to finish this side quest off completely, which happens when we collect the 99th frog. Before we do that, we want to prepare, which is why you want to save after the 98th frog. And in order to prepare, you basically want to equip water-resisting equipment, along with support abilities such as clear-headed, loudmouth, bright eyes, and antibodies on the respective characters. I'm going to be bringing Freya, who has a completely and utterly powered up Dragon Quest ability because of all the Grand Dragons we've been fighting. I made a mistake, by the way, I do apologise. In the last episode I suggested that Dragon's Quest maxes out at 200 dragons. It's actually 100. Once you've killed 100 dragons of any kind in this game, then Freya's Dragon Quest will be doing 9,999 damage. And the Holy Lance is what teaches you the ability. I hadn't actually learned it, which is why I have it equipped now to finish off collecting these stones, or the AP that's needed to learn that permanently. And I also recommend that you just have all 4 characters in the back row, and make sure, if you haven't been following along with Queena's blue magic, that, by the way, Queena has to be in your party for this, which isn't surprising, that you do have, which ability is it? It is this magic hammer, since the boss we're about to be fighting has a lot of magical attacks in their arsenal, but only a small amount of MP, so if we can deplete that, then it makes the rest of the encounter pretty much a triviality, in all honesty. So I'm just going to finish off equipping my characters, I'll tent up and be right back with you. Oh, also make sure that Zidane has the Master Thief ability equipped, because there's some nice items to steal off this next boss, including an item in the rarest slot, so we don't want to be spending an hour stealing, so go ahead and equip that as well as Bandit. Okay, so here we are once again ready to do some frog catching. And of course this time 1 frog will be enough. I'll say 1 frog will be enough. There is actually a reason to do frog catching afterwards, but I'll talk about that once we found out what happens here. So it's been a while since Quale has shown up during the frog catching, since the 45th frog to be precise. We have the final test, which is a battle against Quale himself. Now, Quale actually has massive amounts of hit points for this stage of the game, 65,000 to be precise. So he's going to take a bit of beating, but fortunately he's not actually all that challenging. So what I recommend is that we start defending on our characters, start stealing with Zidane, and get Queena onto Magic Hammer duty. So there's 4 items in total to steal, we're going to want all 4 of them. And then just have everybody else on healing duty and what have you. So this guy has 3,600 MP in total, which is why this is a good tactic to use. So most of my characters, or all of my characters in fact, should take 50% less water damage, which is somewhat helpful of course. And this guy should soon be out of MP. Magic Hammer, by the way, steals a random amount of the amount, based on the amount of MP that the target has left. So this guy's drastically running out of mana now, which means he's missing a lot of his turns. In fact, he's out of mana, which is good to see. You will get this rolling attack quite often, and he's also ran out of stuff to steal. So you will get his rolling attack, but it doesn't really do that much damage, especially if you put all your characters into the back row. So basically, an arm's going to start using Frog Drop and Dragon's Quest. We can steal on Zidane, attack Zidane as well. I'm not going to bother with Dagger's summons because of the long animation times. So we'll just keep her on healing duty as and when that is needed. But both these abilities I'm using, Frog Drop and Dragon's Quest, ignore the enemy's defence. If you have Vivi in the party, by the way, you can also cast Slow on Quale here. So as you can see, Frog Drop and Dragon's Quest are going to become two major attacks as we reach the end game here. Especially as Frog Drop continues to be powered up. So while we're getting through this battle, and it is just a case of making your way through the huge health of the boss, I'll just mention about the continuing of catching frogs afterwards. So when you've caught 99 frogs, which is what we've just done, then there's no further rewards from the actual side quest itself. But Frog Drop does continue to boost, catching frogs does continue to boost the damage of Frog Drop, which is based on the level that Quina is, multiplied by the number of frogs you've caught. At level 99, when Quina's maximum level, 101 frogs will max out your damage to 9999 with the ability. But it does take some effort to get to level 99, so you can continue catching frogs past 101 frogs, and then you'll max the damage out before level 99. So that's pretty much the only reason why it's worth continuing on catching frogs. But there we have it, Quale is down. Not a very difficult boss in all honesty. You do get a nice bit of experience and AP, and that's not the only reward, apart from the stuff we've stolen as well, which is also good to get. But we get the final and ultimate weapon for Quina, which is the Gastro Fork. And that brings us to the end of that side quest. So I will continue on collecting frogs, but I probably won't do so on the videos anymore, but I will mention from time to time when's a good idea to go and check the frog locations for respawns, especially because I understand that some of you may not have reached the figure of 99 yet. Let's just check out this new weapon, the Gastro Fork, which gives us a nice 77 attack, so we'll certainly be going ahead and equipping that. Not that we'll actually be using that attack in all honesty, because I'll pretty much always be using Quina for Frog Drop rather than standard attacks. But you know, we need to get the weapon, so we've got it anyway. Right, so I've just done some frog catching and cleared out the areas. I'm just going to see what my Frog Drop ability is like now. It was doing 6,700, was it, or something like that? So we'll see how much I've boosted it by. I've got 112 frogs, which I guess means I only need to get to level 88 in order to max out the ability. And Queen is already like level 67 or something. So that should be pretty good. And it should be ready now to take into the end game as an actual useful ability that only costs us 5 MP as well, which is nice. So of course, as Queen continues to level up, the damage will increase, and we're doing over 7,500 damage per hit now. Great stuff. Right then guys, I'm going to finish off here today. I know this has been a bit of a quick one, but I do want to try and space these optional quests out so that people that are searching just for these kind of specific videos can find them without trawling through an entire walkthrough. So thanks for joining me, and we'll pick up next time with the next section of optional content before we proceed to the final story section of the game. So please do join me for that. Hit the like button if this has been helpful to you, and I'll see you soon for more Final Fantasy IX.